Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of WTF Live Window Treatment Friday Live. I'm Kim from WindowWorks, and I'm joined here with Vita for Vitalia Inc.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we have a really good episode for you, kind of going back to the basics. We're making a distinction between what Kim and I lovingly call soft treatments and hard treatments. So we'll be talking about the hard treatment portion of the window treatment world, and those are blinds and shades.
Yes, for those of you who are unaware, they're blinds and shades, exactly. So here we go. Okay, this is a project that we did for decorating interiors for Campbell Minister. And here is an example of when you can mix wood blinds with drapery panels. I know a lot of times sometimes I run into clients who are afraid to mix a wood blind with, the soft treatments. How is it going to look? Is it going to be appropriate? Because the wood blind often has the reputation of just being like a basic blind. And especially this is in a dining room, and the clients already have the wood blind, so it was something that they're functional, they serve their purpose, and we're adding our pretty with the drapes. So this is an example of how you can dress up a wood blind. And what's great about when using a wood blind is you have total light and visibility control. So when you want to have your privacy, you can tilt them closed. When you want to see out, you can tilt them open. You can stack them up. You can see behind me right now. We have a wood blind here in our showroom. I tilt it closed when we go live for light control, because then it would just be, bright behind me. In this particular photo, these have decorative tapes. Those tend to be a little bit more traditional. 10, 12 years ago when I started in window treatments, we wouldn't sell a wood blind without adding, a really cool tape. We did a whole project for Charles Pavarini out in the Hamptons, where every room had, the way he designed the room, every room had a different color, and every room had a different color tape. There was the coral room that had coral tape, navy tape, beige tape.
Fun. Maybe they'll be back. Everything old is new again.
Everything comes
Something
in
to look
cycles.
forward to.
Yeah. So right now, what the trend is in with wood blinds is you have a lot of, they've brought in a lot of grays in the stains, a lot of whitewashed in the stains. So it's not like, maybe 2-3 years ago where you just had the option of whites and different wood grains. Now they really have brought in a lot of colors. Like the one behind me is a little bit of it's a wood tone with a grayish wash over it. So it's really cool.
Is that a faux wood blind, Kim, behind you, or real wood?
This is a real wood blind. Now, we'll get into kind of the nitty gritty and different episodes throughout the next couple weeks of faux versus real. This is for the purpose of this episode is really when we did, I think it was our first or second episode of last year, where we got into, no, it might have been our second episode of different drapery pleats.
Oh yeah, we did. We did do that episode.
The first episode was here's a window treatment, and then the second episode was the difference between different drapery headings. So for right now, this week, it's going to just kind of be that hard treatments, blind shades 101. So these are an example of wood blinds and how you can use them, and then we'll really get into the nitty gritty with them in a future episode.
Yep. And I can also underscore this point as well by saying that there's a lot to know in the hard window treatment world. There's a lot of specifications. The books that Kim and I work off of are, 2-3 inches thick, kind of a size 9, single spaced, both sides of the page. So there truly is a lot to know. That is not to say that you guys need to know as much as we do. I mean, that's why you have us, to have all that knowledge and information. But that is only to bring about the point that it can be quite complex and complicated and detailed. And so we are going to devote a whole other episode on each individual variation of the hard treatment. Like Kim said before, the purpose of this episode is to make a distinction between soft and hard, and to give you an overview of what those hard treatments are, so that when you do need to have something on the window that primarily has functionality and provides functionality, which usually means privacy, light control, and glare, these are the types of treatments that you would use. Now, that's not to say that they don't have some degree of aesthetics, but it's not as much as a fabric treatment would add, just like Kim described here in this photo.
Yes. And real quick, hi, Gina.
Hi, Gina. All right, so Kim just showed you the 2-inch blind, whether faux or wood. We'll discuss that later, but that's what a blind essentially looks like. Now, another sort of a variation of a blind, if you will, would be a shutter. And I say variation kind of loosely, only to express the idea that it has louvers, much like the blind does. So the big advantage of a blind is that the louvers tilt open and close, and they can provide privacy and light control. The same thing with shutters. They also have louvers, and they provide privacy and light control. The big differential point from the blinds is that the shutter is a lot more kind of sturdy, if you will. It has a frame that usually goes all around it, or if it doesn't have the frame, it is actually attached on the sides of the window. So it is sort of like permanently on the window. You can't raise it, you can't lower it, you can only tilt the louvers, and it really becomes part of the architecture of that window. And we actually did do an episode on shutters, Kim. You know, I don't know if you remember. I did, and then I was going through our episode like, oh, hey, how about that? We did it. But of course, there's a lot more that can be discussed there as well. Yeah. And we could go into a lot more details. But the thing to know for now, as kind of like as a hard treatments 101, as the overview, is that you have your basic level, which is the blinds, and then a variation on the blinds at a much higher level in terms of the financial investment, as well as the look, are the shutters.
Yeah, nicely done. Okay, this next blind that we wanted to feature is a Honeycomb Shades. Again, with like some of the hard treatments, sometimes some of those treatments are not standalone treatments, and depending on the space. So what I mean by standalone is like, this is a master bedroom with the sitting area, where if you added the honeycomb shade, it serves its purpose. It's really like the function. But once you add the soft treatments, it kind of just finishes it off and adds a layer of pretty. So with the duet, in some spaces, it might, if we don't add a level of the soft treatment, it might not look like the window is finished, that we're not finished dressing the window, so to speak. So, but with this duet, sometimes you have to go with a hard treatment to get the functionality that we need. And for this client, they it's a beach house, and they their neighbors are relatively close, so they wanted to still have the view of you know, over out into the ocean, but they wanted to have privacy at the privacy level. So we went with a top down, bottom up honeycomb shade that you could drop down for the top, and then as you can see there, it's blocked. So if you're sitting at the window seat, you're not worrying about waving to your neighbor, but you can still see out. Now, with this type of shade, you can do it light filtering, room darkening. There's different ways in which you can operate it, you know, down from standard cord lock all the way to motorized, where you can hit a button and it goes up and down. So it all depends on the level and the usage for it. It's really great for this kind of application. We do them a lot in around like jacuzzi tubs, when you need to, when you want to have that level of privacy in the bathroom. You know, ladies, you know, getting as much natural light in a bathroom while you're getting ready, how important that could be. So that's
sure.
So that's why
important and detrimental. Let's just put both sides of the sword here. I kind of know how much more of these wrinkles I can stand in natural light.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of times I call it the set it and forget it kind of method, where you kind of pull the shade from the top down and we set it to, you know, either the middle of the window, right above, if it's a double hung window, right above it, so you don't see the lock, or just, you know, during one of the cross members of of the window frame there, and you kind of just set it in place, and then you don't worry about it. You forget it, and it just kind of lives there. But the honeycomb shades do have a lot of purpose. They are, I call them form, I call them function over form, and the pretty.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a great solution for this installation.
And I can add that several hard window treatments do have the ability to go top down, bottom up. Not
Mm-hmm.
every single one of
No.
them does, but several do. But I have to say, if this particular lift system is the priority for the customer and it kind of trumps everything else, then I would usually recommend to go with the cellular shade.
Yes.
And when we do the episode on cell shades, we can get more into it. But for now,
Oh,
just
yes.
know if of everything else, all the functionality your customer really needs and wants, the tab down, bottom up, this is one of your best options to go with.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, our next hard treatment is the roller shade. And Kim and
Mm-hmm.
I actually did do another episode, a
Yes.
very extensive kind of a deep
Mm-hmm.
dive into roller shades a few episodes ago, which I thought was really, really great.
Yeah.
So please go back to it. Maybe we can put into comments the number for that episode. I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
it off the top of my head. But so with roller shades, just like with the cellular shade, as you could see, when it comes down on the window, if it's not tapped down bottom up, it really covers the entire window.
Mm-hmm.
And if it stops halfway, then halfway of the window is open and the other is not. Or if it stops at 3/4 of the way, then that's what it is. There's no way to tilt it, essentially, is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. So like shades and unlike blinds and shutters, there's no way to tilt it. It's a straight sheet, if you will, that comes down on the window. The beauty with roller shades is that when you want to have it off the window, it can be completely off, or in as
Mm-hmm.
much as the cassette or the topper would allow. And usually that
Right.
topper is about 3 inches, 4 inches at the most, usually. And when you want to roll it up off the window, you can have your view, your light, everything. You can
Mm-hmm.
have your window completely exposed and sometimes not even realize that the roller shade is there. And when you want your privacy and light control and all that functionality, you can bring it down. So that's one of my favorite features of the roller shades. But
Yeah.
we'll put the episode number in comments so you guys can see more of the features and benefits and the pros and cons of this particular hard product. And it's also one of the more popular ones nowadays. These were
Right.
super popular back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know about you, Kim, but that's what I grew up with. so, but very different. So this is not
Yes.
your 80s grandma's roller
It's
shade.
not
That's
your
the point
like
that I'm
no,
making.
no,
So
no, no.
what's old is new again, and it all comes full circle. But here we are 20
Yeah.
years later, and it's really back in popular demand, but in a much more elevated and updated way.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day was you had the scallop bottom with the fringe. I remember just like looking at the fringe and seeing how it was sewn and trying to take it off the shade and getting in trouble. But
Getting in trouble. That's funny.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I just had an idea. Maybe our next roller shade episode should be then and now, kind of like what we did for Halloween, then
Oh,
and now. Maybe we can
yes,
take
we
roller
should do
shades and kind
that.
of do them side by side.
Yes. Okay, there you go. You guys
There
got
you
a
go.
little preview.
This is how creative process works, you guys. If anybody ever thought that this is like
Yeah.
highly thought through and highly methodical, and there's a huge strategic thinking that goes behind it, this is it. You were just privy to our strategic thinking.
You just got it.
Uh,
Okay. All right. The next heart treatment or shade, if you will, that we wanted to present are woven woods. Now, unlike sometimes with wood blinds and honeycomb shade, woven woods could really be a standalone product. It could be the kind of thing that you put it up and it just finishes off the space. And that's exactly what happened here for this installation that we did for Susie Chusid for her client. And with woven woods, you have the options to have them either lined or unlined. If you can see, you can kind of see through the window a little bit. And so this particular shade is unlined, and the customer didn't need a certain level of privacy. It was just more sunblock that they needed as opposed to privacy. So these shades, like roller shades or solar screen shades, there's different levels of privacy that you can get: lined, unlined, room darkening liner. This one, we brought it up to the ceiling line because the molding of the window went up that high, and with we call this a class style woven wood that has a little self balance to it. There's different ways that there's also a waterfall where it could be, it looks like a Roman shade. And there again, like the honeycomb shade, where you can operate it from a standard cord lock all the way to motorized. So there's different applications in how we can function, or how the shades can function. And this is one of my favorite types of window treatments that you can do. I'm actually, hopefully one day soon I can get them up in my master bedroom, but I just love the texture that they bring. And they coordinate really well with soft treatments as well.
Yeah, I would say of all the hard treatments, this is the one that in my mind can really stand alone and
Yes.
provide that true aesthetics in addition to function. I mean,
Yeah.
whereas others definitely have some aesthetic nuance
Shutters,
to
maybe.
them, perhaps shutters for those who
Yeah.
love them. But shutters, people usually have a love-or-hate relationship with
Yeah.
shutters.
100%.
Right. And to your earlier point, there's certain ones that really do not work aesthetically in an aesthetically
No.
pleasing way by themselves, like the cell shades. I mean, it's truly function. There's very little aesthetic there.
Yeah.
But so of all the hard treatments, it's these woven woods that, in my humble opinion, this is a very personal opinion, of course, but they can really stand on their own and provide that beauty and texture and color to the room, and really kind of help to pull the room together.
Yeah, they often compete as well with like Roman shades. They're kind of like in the same category where you can kind of get that same look. Unlike with the Roman, you could have the world's, your oyster in terms of what fabrics you can pick. But with the wovens, I feel like they're kind of their competitor, if you will, for the soft treatments would be a Roman shade.
Yeah. Did we do an episode on Roman shades?
I think so. We'll have to look back.
We should check.
I'm pretty sure we did.
So then the next type of a hard window treatment is not really all that hard at all, but we lump it in with hard treatments anyway. And we call this, well, it's a silhouette essentially. And the silhouette shade is actually a brand name from a company called Hunter Douglas. And if you haven't heard of Hunter Douglas, they are, we'll call them like a, I don't know, Mercedes or so, or BMW or so of the window.
Cadillac,
Of window treatment world, yes. So their Hunter Douglas is usually much more on the high end side of window treatments. And as silhouettes go, this is a product that was developed by them and then copied by many other companies. And it is also on the higher end of the hard treatments world or subcategory of the window treatment world. Okay, so what is it? The silhouette is a combination of a shade and a blind. And here's what I mean by that. It's a shade because when it is in its most upward position, it's completely hidden in the headrail. So it's totally all the way up in the topper of the shade, and it's at the top of the window, and you have your whole window exposed. And then when it comes down on the window, just like a shade, whether it's woven wood or a cellular shade, a roller shade, it just kind of comes down flat and doesn't tilt. It's not like a blind that has that tilting ability. However, why is it a blind? Well, it's a blind because when it hits all the way down to its most downward position, it does have the ability to have these veins. It has the veins, and the veins have the ability to tilt, open or close, which is what you're seeing in this picture. So the beauty of it is it can be completely concealed and disappear all the way up into the headrail, or it can come down on the window, and when it's all the way down, it can tilt and give you the ability to see through, much like a blind would. Now, another thing that it has, and that's why it's on the higher end of window treatments, is in addition to being a combination of a shade and a blind, it's also made completely out of fabric. So it's not like a wood or faux wood. It's not hard like a blind or a shutter is. It's made out of fabric, so it has a very soft look and very kind of gauzy effect, almost like a sheer on your windows. So this is yet another example of a combination of beauty and function. And I have done these without any soft window treatments, without any panels, and it looked good. Although I do have to say, not quite like the woven wood shade where it
No.
truly brings the room together. It's still very much at the window, very much part of that window architecture. Is just much softer than a blind or a cellular shade or a roller shade would look like. A much more elegant, much more traditional look too.
Hmm. I like to call this like the fabric wood blind when
Oh,
I'm
that's
describing
a
it.
good one. I like it. I've never called it that
Yeah.
way.
So just when I'm describing it to clients and whatnot,
Hmm.
especially in the retail worlds where when we're not dealing with designers and you're trying to like get some, word cues and really describe things with some, if you say the word silhouette and someone isn't,
Associations.
yeah, they're not familiar with the name. They're like, what is that? So I say, well, it's kind of like a fabric wood blinds.
Hmm.
And then that's what,
That's a good one. I
yeah,
like it. So there you have it, guys. What do we have? We have a blind, we have a shutter,
better
we have a cellular shade, we have a roller shade, we have a woven wood, and we have a silhouette.
silhouette.
So there are others. Now, this is not a comprehensive list
No.
by any means, but these are our kind of top 6 go-tos, I think, for both Kim
Yes.
and I. So maybe in another episode, we can do some other hard window treatments that are more
Hmm.
like secondary and tertiary
Yep.
that are still in existence, and they certainly have their place too. They're just not our favorites, but it's good to know about them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like off the top of my head, I can probably think of like 4 additional ones
Perfect.
that we could
Sounds like
cover.
another
Yeah.
episode.
There you go.
All right. Oh, but before we let you go, guys, we
Yes.
always have to remind you about our free goodie, and this is mine. So please go on vitaliainc.com to grab your free gift, which is a free lookbook. It's a visual representation
Hmm.
of a whole bunch of ideas for window treatments curated by yours truly. And I called it 37 and a half window treatment ideas to use, swipe, steal, and use immediately on your next window treatment and design project.
Very nice. And over at WindowWorks on our website, we have a free ebook. So if you are new to window treatments and you kind of need a window treatment 101, Luann wrote this ebook about 10 years ago. It's called Architectural Digest is Coming, 10 Things You Need to Know About Custom Window Treatments. Head on over to our page and download your free copy.
Awesome. And if you want to know what is happening in the podcast land and with Luann, definitely head on over to Luann Nigara's podcast, and which is a well-designed business podcast. And today she actually dropped a very personal for me episode because in it I talk about the fire that we experienced 3 weeks ago and how we were able to reconstruct, if you will, or rise from what was burned down.
Like the
And
phoenix that rose from the ashes.
Phoenix, yeah, right. So rising from the ashes, I think, is the name of that episode, and that is truly how I've been feeling for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We are 100% operational, both the workroom and the offices. We haven't skipped a beat on our installs, and we are replacing everything that was lost and refabricating or have reordered already everything that was lost. So I take you behind the scenes of what really happened, how I dealt with it, some of my great wins, and some of my really big bad awful moments. So don't miss that one.
And then Gina wants to know about your upcoming class.
Oh my goodness, Gina, you are just so amazing. You're my producer. I need you in my ear. Thank you. So I should have had a slide for that, right? So my new and upcoming class is this. It is how to scale your window treatment business to your first $1 million year. It is a 6-week class that starts on April 8th. And I take you through really kind of peel back the curtain and take you behind the scenes of my own business, revealing every process and every template and everything that we do behind the scenes to run a profitable, scalable, successful window treatment business. So if you're struggling with processes, if you don't seem to have the time to actually do it, to work on your business, because working in the business is so time consuming, this class is for you. I give you all the information and everything that I've developed. It's yours to take, to still swipe and use, just like my lookbook, and whether you want to appropriate it 100% or 50 or partially, whichever way. But it is your manual then to run your own profitable, scalable, and successful window treatment business. Gina, how did I do? Do I need to hit anything else? Oh, I believe. Oh,
she said very interesting and worthwhile. Yes.
The early bird special ends today. What's today, March 26th. I think today you get to save $300. And yeah, we start on April 6th. I mean, April 8th. April 8th. Go for 6 weeks. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. DM me, PM me. Oh, look what I have here, you guys. We have a little guest.
Oh, hi there. Now we get to see you in person. No creeping in the comments, right?
I don't know if she can hear anything. Kim says hello. Yeah. So yeah, my kids are staying home. They're doing virtual school today. So they're my little partners in crime here. So
okay.
This is Anna, by the way. She's 8.
Yes. Oh, and Gina wants to know how you sign up for your class.
Good question, Gina. I think you go on luannuniversity.com, or if you just go onto Luann's website, I'm sure it's all over her site. It's all over her Instagram. It's on my site, my Instagram, my newsletter. If you have a question about anything about that class, please let me know. My information will be in the next slide, and I would love to answer any of your questions, guys.
Okay. And to keep up with all things WindowWorks, be sure to follow us here on Facebook at WindowWorks, and we are the same handle on Instagram. If you are located in the New Jersey or New York area and you have a window treatment or awning project, and you want to take out all the guesswork and all the details that go along with window treatments and awnings, please give us a call. We would be happy to help you on your next project.
Do you want to click? You can click.
Wait.
All right. No. Don't stop sharing. Okay, let me do this.
There you go.
I know. So, and if you are in the Philadelphia area and you're an interior designer looking for support with window treatments, please give us a call. Vitalia Inc. is an all-inclusive fabrication, measurement, installation, and project management company exclusively for interior designers. We have your back. We take care of you. You are never in this crazy, complicated world of window treatments alone, because we are there to support you every step of the way. So DM me, PM me, call me, email me with any questions or quotes for the projects. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Alrighty, everyone. So that concludes today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will be here next Friday at 12, because if it's Friday,
it's Window Treatment Friday Live, WTF. We're here every Friday at 12. You guys, it's okay. It's all right. Join us here where Kim and I talk about window treatments. We show you pictures. We answer your questions. Anything you need, Kim and I are here for you in terms of window treatments.
All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this lovely weather that we're getting here on the East Coast finally.
Bye-bye.
Bye.